Hey, welcome back. We had an exciting week in the world of AI, and I want to go over all the news that I found to be most interesting. Let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is AI music. Now, we've had generative music and deepfaking voices for a while now, but what we haven't had is a legitimate pop song to go viral from a very well-known artist. Drake is the first one. There was a song released called Heart on My Sleeve. Drake had nothing to do with it. Somebody deepfaked his voice, put together the beats, and it sounded great. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get copyright striked, but you can search for it and find it yourself. Now, already the music industry is scrambling. This reminds me a lot of when MP3s came out, and the only thing the music industry thought to do was try to sue to get this technology stopped. That is not the right way to go. They need to adopt, embrace, and figure out how to monetize this. And there was also another song that came out a few weeks ago that was a remix of a very popular song called Munch, but instead it was using Drake's vocals. And Drake actually replied saying, "This is the final straw." So he's obviously pissed that somebody's using his voice. Now, for an artist as big as Drake, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense for him to authorize them to use his voice and even for him to take a cut of it because he's so popular already that it would probably just dilute his brand. Now, for other artists, this could be a good opportunity. And one artist in particular who has been at the forefront of technology is really taking advantage of this. Let me show you that. Now, here's Canadian pop star Grimes on the same issue. "I'll split 50% royalties on any successful AI-generated song that uses my voice. Same deal as I would with any artist I collab with. Feel free to use my voice without penalty. I have no label and no legal bindings." Now, that's really important. She is completely independent, and so she gets to choose what she wants to do with her image, her voice, and her collection of music. Other artists are not in that same spot. So even if they wanted to be adventurous and really embrace this new technology, they probably couldn't. And in a subsequent tweet, she also says that if you register music with us, you can collect and get paid out royalties directly from these AI-generated songs. And the cool thing is they're going to use smart contracts, blockchain technology. Now, I know a lot of people who don't believe in blockchain as a technology that's actually useful, but this use case makes a lot of sense to me. Being able to have contracts at scale and easily sign up for them, easily execute them is a great use case for blockchain tech. Now, other artists have also been subject to deepfakes. Bad Bunny, Rihanna, The Weeknd, they've all had songs come out that were using deepfakes of their voice. This is going to be a major issue for the music industry. And I really hope they learn from their mistakes of the MP3 era because now they're all making a lot of money and the technology allows many more people to actually enjoy the music. So I hope they get with it. Now, one big problem that was pointed out by Billboard in this article, and I'll link this article in the description below, is the fact that these songs are going to be produced en masse. It is so easy to create an AI-generated song like this that it really will dilute the brand. And when you saturate the market, you definitely lose quality. So that's something that needs to be solved. And I'm not sure how to do that. So I'm going to be watching this very closely and I will report when I hear more. The next story I want to talk about is ChatGPT allowing you to essentially have incognito mode. They launched this week new ways to manage your data. You can turn off chat history so it no longer saves your chat history with ChatGPT, which also prevents it from using your data to train future models. So if you're using it for sensitive projects, if you're using it in the business context and you don't want to share that information, you can easily turn it off now. Here's the tweet by Sam Altman. "You can now disable chat history and training in ChatGPT. And next, we will offer ChatGPT Business in the coming months." Now, here's a little clip about how to turn off data sharing. Go to the little three-dot menu, settings, and chat history and training. You just toggle that off. And it says chat history is off in the top left. You type out your private message and it's done. Now, they don't give much information about it, but it's going to be a product geared towards business, obviously. You're going to have more control over your data. You're probably going to have more control over users and roles-based access control. So they're really gearing up to go after the enterprise. And last, they announced a new export option so you can export all of your ChatGPT history really easily, which is cool for training, although might be a little risky for ChatGPT because other models can be trained on that, although it's against their terms of service. Next, I want to talk about Replit. Replit is best known as a coding editor that is completely in your browser. It's used by a ton of people, and they just raised an enormous Series B extension round. $97 million at a $1.16 billion valuation. Andreessen Horowitz is involved. Coatue, Khosla, Y Combinator is the original seed investor, and they're going to be using that money to expand their cloud services and build their lead in AI for software creation. And GitHub Copilot, which is an incredible AI coding partner, has been around for a while. Now, Replit is launching their own completely based on a model that they're training themselves, and hopefully it's going to be really comparable to Copilot. Now, GitHub Copilot X is coming out soon, which is essentially ChatGPT in your code base. So not only are you going to be able to have code completion, but you'll actually be able to ask your code base questions. You'll be able to build with ChatGPT. I made a video about how powerful coding with ChatGPT is. I'll share that here, and you should check it out. I'm incredibly more productive using ChatGPT to code. I can even write code in other languages. I'm extremely excited to check out Replit's offering, so keep an eye out for it. The last story we'll be talking about is another funding story. This time it's Pinecone, which is a vector database service. And if you're not familiar with Pinecone or vector databases, it's a really amazing way to give artificial intelligence memory. Essentially, you convert your text into vector format, you push it to Pinecone, and then you can do relevance queries. And so why that works so well with ChatGPT and other large language models is because everything in large language models is text-based. And now you're able to search based on text rather than very structured queries. So vector databases allow you to store an incredible amount of information, query it using natural language, and then pass that information to ChatGPT for the prompt itself. The prompt token limit is really the biggest limit with providing context to ChatGPT. And so Pinecone aims to solve that problem. So Pinecone raised an enormous $100 million Series B round, whereas just a few months ago, nobody really knew who they were outside of really hardcore developers building AI. They also raised money from Andreessen Horowitz with participation from Ionic Growth, Menlo Ventures, and Wing Venture Capital. They were just valued at $750 million, and apparently they are growing like crazy. Now, that growth comes on the back of ChatGPT's popularity with their launch at the end of 2022 and absolutely dominating headlines for months. And so having a database that is specialized to work with large language models at the same time that large language models are all over the news set them up really well to raise this round. Congratulations to Pinecone. I use Pinecone. It's a good tool. I feel like if I blink, I miss a ton of really exciting news and launches because so much is coming out so quickly. So stick around on the channel, subscribe, and I'll keep you up to date. Thanks. See you in the next one.